everyone, welcome back to this channel. If you're new, then welcome to this channel. Well, today we are going to learn some more basics about Tkinter, as this is a series of the Tkinter tutorial. Well, today we're gonna go through buttons. So today what are we going to do is we will learn what is a button and how to create a button and how to show that button on the window, and we're gonna configure the button as well, and we're gonna manipulate, like if we click that button it's gonna happen something. So yeah, first what are we going to do is we have to know what is a button. Like, I think everyone knows what is a button, right? Button is nothing but that creates an event if you're doing something. Like, for example, if you see here I got a button, right? If I click this one, it's gonna close my presentation. So button is nothing but if you click on that thing, it will trigger some event. Like, for example, if you click here, it's gonna close this window or it's gonna do something for us. Like, for example, if you're listening to music, right? What you'll do, you'll just go there and tap on that playlist that you like, and that's a button. And what it will do is when you're clicking on that particular playlist, it's gonna play all the songs over there in the list. So clicking and triggering is nothing but button. So I hope you understood what is a button. Button is nothing but it is actually used to trigger an event. If you want user to do something, like if user want to do something, then user will just go and click over there, and yeah, that generates a particular event. And yeah, in this way button exactly works. I hope everyone understood what is a button. It is used to trigger an event. So how to create a button? Well, it's pretty simple in Tkinter. There is a button class. So what are we going to do is we're going to create a button variable. It's actually not variable, it's an object of button. You don't have to use button exactly. You can just give something like start button or stop button, something like that. It depends upon the interface or project that you're working on. So here, this is just for demo, right? So I'm gonna give button for now. What I'm gonna do is to create this button, there is a class from Tkinter which is button. Similar to label, there is a button class, and yeah, in this we're gonna pass parameters as window. Window is nothing but the window or the interface that we created. And the button width will be 10 pixels or 10 units something, and text will be click here will be appeared on that button. So what are we going to do is we're going to create a button with passing these three simple parameters. First one is window, because we have to tell that in this window we need this button. So we're going to pass window as parameter. It must be W1. It depends upon the name of the object of the window that you created, right? So yeah, in this way we're gonna create a button with 10 and text equal to click here. Click here will get appeared on that button. Here you just create it. If you don't write this code, then it's not gonna appear. Though you have button, interpreter knows that there is a button which is created with 10 and text is click here, but it's not gonna appear over there. So for that, what you're going to do is place. We're going to use place here. This is one of the geometry manager. I hope you understood what is the geometry manager. If you didn't see the video, then do go back and check out the playlist of this entire Tkinter basics so that you can understand each and every step that I'm doing here. So here, actually, geometry managers, there are three things. One is place, one is pack, one is grid. You can use any of them. But right now, I'm here using place so that it will be easy for us to place a button in the interface that we want. This is just for demo, right? Okay. So button.place, and x value will be 10 and y value will be 10. These two are x and y coordinates. I think I said you before, just imagine a 2D plane. If x value is 10, then here it will be 10 pixels away from the interface, and if y is 10, then it will be 10 pixels away from the top of the interface. I hope you understand. Alright, now everyone knows what is button and how to create a button, right? Okay, then let's start coding. So here in the previous sessions, I explained what is a window, what is a label, and I also explained how to use geometry managers, and the final thing is grids, right? Now let's gonna go through how to create a button. Okay, let's see what are we up to. We have an interface with three labels, right? We just don't need these three labels for now. Just keep one label. And yeah, close this one and rerun it. And yeah, we just have a label. So what are we going to do is let's change its background color. It's a bit annoying. Background. No, just background. BG color is the one that we created. Here, this one. It will be white. So background will be white for us for now. Close this one. And yeah, here we have a label with first name, right? Okay, now what are we going to do is we're going to create a button. You guys know how to create a button, right? What are we going to do is create a name called BT, for example, and button. What is the name of the window? It's just a window, right? So window, and we're gonna give some title or text. Click me or something like that. And yeah, let's see what happens. Always close this one and rerun it. There's no button because we didn't place the button, right? So yeah, let's place the button. Though we have this button here, it's not gonna place for us because interpreter knows that we do have a button here, but it doesn't know where to place it. So for that, what I'm gonna do is pt.place, as usual, x equal to 10 and y equal to 10. And I think this time it's gonna place button for us in the window. Oh yeah, here we have button. Where is the label? Label is below the button. I hope you're getting what I'm doing here. So instead of 10 here, we'll get 50. Yeah, it's something like this. It's still messy, right? Instead of place, we can also use grid. Why not we just use grid here? Let's use grid. Grid, it'll be easy to manage if we use grid. Row equal to equal to 0. Back column will be 1. Let's see what happens. Yeah, here we have a cool button which is saying click me, but if we click, it's not going to trigger any event because we didn't give any functionality to that particular button. We just created a button, but if we click here, it must show something like that. The button's main functionality is to trigger an event. Here we just have button, but we don't have event, right? So how to create an event? Well, I think now it's time for us to think how to create an event, right? So yeah, let's do it like how to create an event. But before creating an event, let's configure this button a bit. You can configure this button by changing its background color, by changing its foreground color, by changing the anchors. I think you know how to create a label, right? If you go through my labels video, there I actually created a label and I also configured it. In the same way, we can even configure the button that we have here. So let me configure this a bit so it looks good for us, so it looks cute and easy for us to see it. Let's change its background color. BG color. No, it's not BG color. This thing is really messing me. But it's okay. BG equal to black for now. Foreground will be white. You can use BG color, which is over there. Okay, run it. Yeah, it's a bit better, a lot more better, but I think I made a mistake here. It's click me. Where's the name of this click me? Here, it must be L. And yeah, let's change this test name also to first button. It's a bit messy. It's not at all making sense. We'll give first button. Yeah, now it makes sense. Okay, we have a label and we have a button. We can configure the button by changing its font color, by changing its background color, foreground color. You can change even inside the button if you want. If you want, you can just go through the label video where you can understand more about label. And if you understand that, you can apply the same things here on button if you want. So for now, this is fine for me. I'm gonna create an event so that if I click this button, it's gonna do something for me. Let's do it. So first, what are we going to do is we're going to create a function, an event, right? For that, I'm going to create a function. So the function is, for example, first event. Just print, I'm your first event. We created event, but we didn't implement an event. If we click this button, it have to show us this pop-up like I'm your first event, right? So how to do that? So for that, there is a parameter called command. So here we're gonna give command, and the argument will be this one, first event. So what happens is if we click this button, this command will go to this function and it will run this function and it will print I'm your first event. Let's see what happens if we run this one. If you click here, it's showing the message here. But we want this message in this window itself. How can we do that? It's a bit interesting. So what are we going to do is we're gonna create a label and we're gonna keep this text I'm your first event inside that label. How are we going to do that? That's pretty simple. Inside this function itself, we are creating a label with label dot configure label.configure. There is a text, right? For in order to show this label, we have a text parameter, right? So we're gonna keep that text here. Your first event. Alright, let's see what happens. There's a miss. There's something is missing. Missing one positional argument self. So here we're gonna get an error because this label is actually a class. You cannot configure a class, right? How can we do that? So for that, what I'm gonna do is we're gonna create one more label like same like this and we're gonna configure it. How are we going to do that? First copy this one, paste it here, and this will be label 2. And this time we will see the message in row 1 and column 1 or 2, whatever. It will be away from the other label. And here we're gonna remove this text because we're gonna configure it over there while generating an event. Okay, so yeah, we have label 2 and we place this label 2 here. And now what are we going to do is we're gonna use this label 2 and we are going to configure this label 2. I hope you're getting. Now let's see what happens. And if I click this one, okay, it's gonna show, but there is a miss. Something is wrong. What is that? Your first event. Okay, the width is not enough. Let's give 50. And yeah, this time it's working. I'm your first event. I'm your first event. That's nice. This will be row 1. This will be column 1. Yeah, it's working. But it took 50. Let's give 30 for now. Yeah, it's a bit better now. So in this way, the button exactly works. The button is actually created to trigger an event. So if the user clicks that button, it's gonna print I'm your first event, right? So yeah, in this way, the button exactly works. If you want, you can even create an event by creating a function, and you're gonna use that function by using a command parameter. There is a parameter called command. You're gonna give first event as argument here. And if you give first event, what does it do is, first when the user clicks this button, it will go to this command and it will run this function, and it will print this I'm your first event as the label too. This will be printed in the command itself. If you want, you can use this while fixing any bugs or while going through the code that you have. Then at that time you can use this, like you can just check whether the function is working for you or not. So now we know what is a button. It is a button which is actually used to trigger an event, and we know how to create a button by using a button class with some parameters over there, and you know how to show the button by using place or pack or grid. You can use whatever geometry manager you want, and you can also configure the properties of button by changing its background color, foreground color, font size, font color. You can do whatever with the button, and if you click the button, it's gonna manipulate that button by generating an event, by triggering an event that we created. How are we going to create that event? By using a function. There is a function called def first event, and I just created, and yeah, I just printed, and also I created a label inside, and hope you understood how that label got manipulated. First I created a label, and later I configured the label by filling the text parameter, right? So in this way, we can manipulate the button and we can generate an event. And the entire thing is actually an example, right? So, and in the next video, I'm gonna go through one more interesting basic of Tkinter, as this is the series of the Tkinter tutorial. If you are new, then if you don't understand, then the link of the Tkinter tutorial will be in the description. Just go there and check it out. And if you like the video, then hit that cute little like button. And if you're new to my channel, then don't forget to subscribe to my channel for further updates.